Hey Deckers, today I'm looking at 3 game updates, being Warhammer 40,000 Speed Freaks, Steamworld Heist 2, and we got a giveaway for this as well, so keep your eye out in this video, and also Japanese Driftmaster, Rise of the Scorpion. Kicking things off with Steamworld Heist 2. Huge thanks to Fanatical for giving us a key to test this one out on Steam Deck, ready for its release today, and also for being able to give us 2 giveaway keys. So keep your eye out throughout the video for parts of those keys, and if you're lucky, you'll find the rest of it at the end. First of all, this is running fantastically well on the Steam Deck. However, I am going to recommend a 45 frames per second cap on the OLED and a 40 frames per second cap on the LCD, just to eke out the battery a little bit more, as this will actually bring it under 8 watts, giving you around 6 to 7 hours on the OLED. And if you are running with the performance overlay, the only adjustment that you really need to do in game is to change the interface overscan adjustment or scaling to your liking, otherwise it runs perfectly fine. Keep VSync off, as the Steam Deck will deal with that. Unfortunately, dropping this down to 30 frames per second does seem to introduce some stutter. It doesn't save much more on the battery, but if you can deal with 30, then you will be able to push that to around 7 to 8 hours on the OLED gameplay. But otherwise it runs absolutely flawlessly, looks fantastic, and the gameplay is extremely addictive. Let us know in the comments below if you can be diving into this one, and if you do pick up the keys, let us know in the comments below, as well as using the link to purchase it in the comments below as well. Next up, we have Japanese Driftmaster, Rise of the Scorpion. Now, this is an up-and-coming game. It's not available yet, but definitely one that you want to be adding to your wish list, as it's much more up the simulator drift scene than arcade, but a good mix. Although it is extremely difficult with the mix of drift, grip, and drag, and the drag racing is extremely unforgiving. We even have to warm up our tires and then get those shifts absolutely perfect, and even when I think that I've got my reaction time as best as I can, although I didn't quite get perfect on my tire and also one of my shifts, I still only barely scraped silver. So definitely one for the enthusiasts, as you're going to take a lot of work getting used to this. Not a huge amount of the way in graphics, although it does say that it was actually Unreal Engine 4. It does look like 5 the way that it behaves with the graphic settings. We have to put this down to the absolute minimum pretty much to get it looking okay, and it does look a little bit fuzzy. On the PC this looks absolutely gorgeous, but otherwise on the deck we are only managing around 30 to 40 frames per second. Now, for the most part, it is extremely good in its drift mechanics and its driving simulator abilities. Good mix between arcade and actual simulation, but we do hit some major performance issues on the Steam Deck at night in certain areas. It even drops down into the single figures, even with that low graphics preset, and everything pretty much down to the minimum. So hopefully they can work this out, as I really do want to keep an eye on this one. This is one of the greatest drift simulators I've played in quite some time, so hopefully they can get performance working a little bit better on the deck. And make sure this is on your wish list so you can see that progress later on. Huge thanks to Keymailer for giving us a key to test this one out on the deck, and we'll certainly be keeping our eye on this one. Last up, we have Speed Freaks. Now, we tested this back in the open beta and it ran quite well, but it's running a lot better now. It has its full release, but it was kicking you in game. Now, they do seem to have fixed this, and it's now running perfectly fine on the Steam Deck. And if we switch to FSR2 quality and reduce quite a lot of the other settings from its epic preset for some reason, with motion blur off, ambient occlusion off, and speed blur down to low, view distance quality to medium, shadow quality on medium, post-process on low, texture quality, effects, and foliage all on medium, with shading quality also on low, then we get a pretty good 40 frames per second on this one, although it is holding heavy on that 22.5 to 23 watts during gameplay, meaning we're only going to get about 2 to 2.5 hours gameplay on the OLED, probably only around an hour and a half to 2 hours tops on the LCD. But with these settings, it does make it the most stable. You can go down to FSR2 balance to get 1 or 2 frames per second more, but it really makes it a bit too blurry and not so nice looking on those graphics front. FSR2 quality is definitely the lowest I want to go with FSR2 to stop it looking absolutely disgusting on the screen. But with these settings, it's definitely playable, and you can finally enjoy Speed Freaks on the deck and play both game modes all the way through. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be picking any of these up. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.